All right, Jennifer. Well, I'm going to start talking about this assignment called the mock interview assignment. And thank you for joining me. I wish that we had a few more, but I'm going to record this so other students can watch it. But basically, what the mock interview assignment is we will be having a Zoom session where one person will be interviewed and four others will be interviewing them. And there's a whole process that's going to go into preparing for that. But basically, it'll be a live interview. I'll be there to kind of mediate it and to get it started. And then it'll just kind of happen. And basically, the person being interviewed will be asked 8 questions. Those 8 questions will be given by the four people doing the interviewing. And basically, they'll each ask 2 questions in rotation. So the first person will ask a question, the second person will ask the second question, all the way down till they've all asked one question. Then it'll start back to the first person again. They'd ask the fifth question, etc., till all 8 questions are asked and answered. And then the person being interviewed would be given the opportunity to ask any questions themselves, just like you would in a normal interview. Now, what this interview is going to be based off is the job search that the people did. So I'm looking for students to sign up to be interviewed, but I need fewer of those. And usually I don't get too many takers just because it's a little intimidating to be interviewed. But if a student is going to be getting a job soon, or maybe even there's a job they've applied for recently and they want to do kind of like a dry run on the interview, this is a great opportunity. Or if they just want to, learn how to be a better interviewer or interviewee, they can choose to be interviewed. But either way, whichever student chooses to be interviewed. So let's just say that you say, okay, professor, I'll be interviewed. So okay, great. Then what you need to do is first thing is you need to do the discussion post that just started last week, and that is to do a job search. So go out there, find a job that you think that you would qualify for. The guidelines are you need to find 3 jobs at 3 different job sites. And then once that's the assignment. So you basically select 3 jobs that you think you could qualify for either now or once you get your degree. And then secondly, you're going to put down 3 reasons why you feel like you qualify for that job. Now, that's your discussion post assignment. From that assignment, you're going to select one of those jobs that you would like to write your resume, your cover letter, as well as be interviewed for. So let's just say you pick 3 jobs, you select one, and then you submit your resume and your cover letter based off of that one job that you've selected. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that job resume and that job posting and that cover letter to the 4 people who will be doing your interviewing. So students are signing up. For instance, they're signing up for. Actually, I set it up so that you can actually add your resume and add your cover letter right to the assignment date that you sign up for. So whatever date you select, and I'll show you all this in a minute on Canvas, but you'll select a date, you'll sign up, and then once you sign up, you can actually upload your resume and cover letter, and that way this other students who sign up on that same assignment can also then see your documents. And so then their job is going to be to prepare the 2 questions that they have to ask you. And so based off of your cover letter and your resume and the job posting, they're going to create 2 questions each. And then on the day of the interview, we'll all come together and I'll moderate, and then they will each ask their questions one at a time till they've done one round. And then again, the second round, they'll ask the second question. And then they'll be actually grading the person being interviewed. And then I will be grading the person's doing the interviewing. So that's kind of the big picture of the assignment. And so let me show you kind of what the rubrics look like. So for the interviewee, they're going to look like this. So this is a mock interview grading sheet. So rubric for the interviewer. So your name, the name of person being interviewed, and the name of person doing the interviewing. So this is for the person who's doing the interviewing. So they need to put the person's name here that they're going to be interviewing, and then they put their name right here on the third line, and then I'll be the one that's my name. Now, when I usually use this sheet, I actually have other students grade the students doing the interviewing, but in this case, I'll be grading everybody doing the interviewing. So my name would be the first one there. anyway, these are the categories. So when it comes to, actually interviewing somebody and asking them questions, this is what the person be doing the interviewing will be graded on, these four areas. So basically confidence, how prepared were they with their questions? How prepared were they for the interview? Did they come across professional and all that kind of stuff? And then secondly, clarity. Were the questions clear? Did they make sense? Were they open-ended? You never want to ask a close-ended question when you're interviewing somebody. The open-ended requires them to give you a lengthy answer, where if it's closed, meaning they could say yes or no, and that's over, that's not what you want. So they should be open-ended. So that's the kind of question. And the content, does their questions relate to the job, position, the company? Were the questions relevant to the job? So they weren't just random questions, but they were important to the position. And then congeniality, were they friendly, gracious, caring, engaged, positive, all those things as they're asking the question. So again, this is the rubric for somebody actually doing the interviewing. So this will be for the four people in the group, and I'll be again using this grading sheet to grade them. But there's a second grading sheet. So let me stop sharing that. And the second grading sheet will be those who are actually being interviewed. And so let's see, I opened the same one twice. Sorry. Hopefully I didn't upload the same one twice. Let's try this one. And that is the same one twice. Okay, so hold on a second. Let me get the correct one, because that certainly isn't it, and that isn't it. So let me go to Word for a second and get the correct one. Here it is. Nope, that's not it. Let me go to my desktop and find it. Okay, mock interview. Okay, this is the one I want. All right, sorry about that. Let me share my screen. All right, so this is the grading rubric used for the person being interviewed. So now if I'm one of the four people doing the interviewing, this is the form I will use as I'm scoring the person that I'm asking questions to. So the name of the person being interviewed right there, and then the job title. So it'll be the first thing we get out of the way when we do the mock interview. And then these are the five areas that you would be judging them on. So confidence as well, like how confident were they in their answers? Did they play the part? Did they act like, they were really being interviewed? Secondly, clarity. How did they answer the question? Were they clear on their answers? Were they articulate, or did they get off topic? So did they answer the specific question? Number four, or third one, content. Did their answer demonstrate knowledge of the position and the company and relevance to the job? Did they demonstrate that they'd be a good fit for this position? So it's kind of that whole idea of, was their answers appropriate? Did they share success stories? Did they make it clear that they know what this job is and that they would be qualified for it? And then congeniality, again, were they friendly, gracious, kind, caring, positive, helpful, etc., enthusiastic? Were they excited about the interview and they acted like they would have, they're really that they really cared, they were friendly, those kinds of things. And then lastly is conclusion, which is what is your overall impression of this candidate? And would you hire them for the position they applied for? So you're basically making a hiring decision based off of the interview that you've just given. So this is where you're filling this out as the interviewer for the person that you're interviewing. So these documents will be sent out. They'll be actually given to you in the actual Zoom session. So once everybody logs in, I'll be put these in the chat. Then each person can open their scoring sheet and they can use that to score the person for the interview. So that's kind of how that will go. That's the actual interview. And again, they probably last about 15, 20 minutes long, depending on how lengthy the person answers their questions, which you should answer your question as thoroughly and clearly as you can. I think, the chances of you going extra long are probably less likely than going too short. I think it's better to say a little bit more than you should than not enough. That's my opinion. And then when we're all done with the interview, then I'll be actually giving some feedback, and I'll get on my soapbox for a minute and talk about interviewing and some of the do's and don'ts and some of the things that were done well in the interview and some of the things that could be different. But that's kind of how I'll do it. So it's pretty simple. I think I don't know which class you're in, but I have two different sections. So as I mentioned earlier, Jennifer, you can only be interacting and interviewing people within your section. So one of my classes has 16 students in it. So that would be 4 interviews if they all participate. And then the other class has like 26 in it. And so that would be what, maybe 7 or 8, 6 or 7 interviews that we'd be able to do. So yeah, so that's kind of how that will go. Any questions before I move on?
No, I think you covered it all.
Okay, so let me go then to real quick my Canvas site. So let me go to Cheeritos. Okay, I'm going to log in here. I think I'm probably already there, but the share my screen again. Right. All right, I'm going to share one more time. This time I'm going to share from our course. So, all right, so here we are on the home page in Canvas. So if I come down here to modules, this is how you would sign up for a mock interview. So you're going to scroll down. They're going to be the last couple of weeks of class. So here I have some right here. Now, these aren't published yet, so the dates and times are incorrect. And those I have to figure out the date and times yet. So I'm probably going to do what I typically do is I'll do 1 or 2 during the day, and I'll do 1 or 2 during the evening, during the week, and then I'll do 1 or 2 on the weekend. And so that's kind of how I do it. So you'll have to just look and see which week, which time and date works best for you. But again, I don't have them set up yet because I was hoping after this Zoom session, we'd have enough students where I could get feedback. So I don't know if there's a particular day and time that works best for you, but you're the only one here to tell me. So does a daytime work better for you or a nighttime or what would be best, Jennifer?
To me, it would be in the morning,
Okay.
uh,
During the
on
week.
a Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll make sure I do one on a Tuesday, Thursday, for you in the morning, um,
Okay, thank you.
since you're here. So, all right. So what you would do then, let's just say these are published and this happens to be the Tuesday and day and time you want. You just select it, like you can see I'm doing here. And then what it's going to do, it's going to open so this was last semester. I still have names in there. So all you need to do in this case, you don't have to worry about anything. You either are going to be interviewed or be interviewer. So you just come down here and you click reply. And then you would type in the box, I want to be interviewed. Or you can say, I want to be a interviewer. Or a better way to put it is, I want to interview someone else, right? So any of those works. You can just let me know what you want, which role you want to play. And then what I'll do is I'll look at your name. So let's just say, Jennifer did it. So then Jennifer, your name is going to show who the post was made by. So you don't even have to put your name. And then what I'll do is I'll come up here and I'll click edit as people sign up. So I'll come here and I'll go edit. And then what that allows me to do then is I could come in here and change that information. So for instance, if you said you wanted to be interviewed, then I would put your name here. So Jennifer V. And then you're signed up to be interviewed on that day and time. And then as students are signing up, I'm adding their name to either the bottom list or the top list. Okay. So then let's just say that date comes and we are here and it's time for you to be interviewed. Then all you need to do in that case is come into the same place where you signed up, scroll down here, and right here is the link to the interview. So you just select the link, it'll open up Zoom, you sign in like you normally do, and then you'll appear in the Zoom session along with myself and everyone doing your interviewing. And then I'll give instructions on, the do's and don'ts, what not to do, how this whole thing's going to run, and then I will set you loose to do the interview. I'll watch, I'll observe. If I need to step in, I will. And then when it's all over, we'll thank everybody for their time. I'll give a little bit of feedback on how the interview went, and I'll ask everybody some questions about it. And then you're done. And then everybody that did the interviewing needs to send me their scoring sheet so that way I can um, collect it for the grading. So that's how it works. It's actually a little bit more work on me because I need to be there at those dates and times. I also need to collect all the sheets, and I usually have a little trouble because students won't do it. So I tell them, do it right now. The next 5 minutes when we end this Zoom session, fill it out and email it to me. And some will do it and some won't. So and then I have to hunt them down. And there's been a few times I never got a sheet back from somebody, but they also do not. The rule is I will not grade them until they send me the score sheet. If they don't send me the score sheet, then they don't get a grade either. So that's kind of how it'll go. So that's pretty much how it
Okay.
works. It goes pretty smoothly most of the time. Sometimes we are a little short on people to be interviewed, or we're a little short on people doing the interviewing, so we had to, compromise it a little bit. Sometimes I had two people being interviewed, but only three people doing the interviewing. So I asked one of the ones that was wanted to be interviewed to act as an interviewer, and then we would ask the other person being interviewed to be an interviewer, and then we do two interviews back to back. And that's happened because we just didn't have enough people signed up. So but that's how it'll go. If and I don't know if you have any questions, Jennifer, if that makes sense, but it's a fun assignment. It is live, so they have to log in at that time and that date that they sign up for. And I'll be sending an email out about that on Monday. I'll have all the dates and times set, and then I'll also link this video in that email so that way they can watch it. So, any questions?
Okay. No, I think you did cover it,
Okay,
most of it. Yeah.
it's pretty simple, and it's a quick score. I mean, there is an alternative assignment for anyone who just doesn't want to do it or can't work out the time to be there, and that is a 6-page proposal that they'd have to write, and I usually wait to see if I get, students that just absolutely do not sign up or cannot sign up, then I'll send them out the information on that alternative assignment. So that there is an alternative, and I think I have to offer that because I am requiring you an online class to meet at a certain day and time. And because of that, I guess I could do that without any implications, but I recognize some students just cannot do that. Maybe they're working in the week, they got just too much going on. So I do give them an alternative assignment. I'm going to tell you right now, though, this is 10 times easier than writing the proposal. This goes quickly. You're done. You're done in 20 minutes and you earned your points. So I promise you it'd be a lot easier. Just being there at the day and time that you need to be, that's the challenge. So
Okay. And we were gonna have to have our cameras on and everything, correct?
yeah, you need to have your camera only for the interview part. So yeah.
Okay. And if we were to be the interviewer, do we ask questions based on like their resume, or do can we ask questions based like on characteristics or just character?
Well, I think the general rule I give is you can ask one what I call generic question, like what are your strengths and weaknesses or something like that. But you need to have at least one of the two questions based off of their resume or cover letter or job posting. So that makes sense. So
Okay.
so each person, and then that's what you're being graded on by me is how creative were you in your questioning, how relevant were you in your questioning? Because if
We
it's
have to,
irrelevant or you obviously didn't put any thought into it, you just gave me all generic questions, then it really kind of will hurt your score a little bit. So
okay. And we're making up two questions or we're only
two,
making up one?
you're all making up two questions.
Oh, okay, two questions. Okay.
And the only negative that happens sometimes is we do have overlapping questions, so a little bit. And if that's the case, sometimes I'll step in and say, let's answer this question instead, or it's different enough that it's fine. And sometimes it's good because it challenges the interviewer to or interviewee to come up with a little bit different answer if they got asked something very similar. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
worked out okay so far. I haven't had any issues with it being so specifically the same. And I might even ask, sometimes I even ask the first question and then we just go through the whole list. Uh, then we start with all you guys doing your questions. So yeah, so
Okay.
you're graded specifically on your question. questions, and then you're also graded on your, your conduct in the interview, your character, your attitude, stuff like that. So,
Okay, perfect.
yep. All right.
Awesome.
Well, I'm going to stop my recording, and I'm going to where is it at? I'm going to stop recording.